Hello all, and thank you for listening to Mr. Laxton's video on this Algebra II Chapter 2 practice test. So hopefully me talking through some of these answers can give you a little bit of a push in the right direction so you know what we're doing for the test coming up soon. Alright, so this test is going to be very similar to, or this practice test is going to be very similar to your test, so if you know how to do this practice test, you know how to do the test. Alright, so here is the answer so you can check yourself to see if you got them correct. Is the given relation a function? We'll jump straight into number one. Remember here that you can't have x values that repeat. So explain, no, this is not a function. No, not a function. And this is not a function because 4 leads to more than one output. 4 leads to more than one output. All right, so remember each input can only have one output. All right, so 4 is the same input, but that does go to 2 and 7, so that cannot work. All right, number 2 is asking us really just to find out what is f of -3. So we talked about that. F of -3 is just plugging in -3 for all my x's. So I have -3 squared minus a -3, and be careful here, they're trying to get you with these negatives. So -3 squared, we got to do that one first, is +9, and then a negative of a negative is a positive, so I have +3, so 9 plus 3 is 12. All right, awesome. So f of -3 is 12. Number 3, it says calculate the slope of a line containing these points. Remember here, this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we talked about this is that we take my y, so that's 1 minus 5, and if I go 1 minus 5, I have to start with -6 minus a -3. All right, so 1 minus 5 is -4. And then -6 minus a -3 is going to be plus a +3, so that is going to be -3. So this is going to be +4/3 is what my slope is going to be there. Okay, 2 negatives make a positive. All right, so as we keep on rolling here, number 4, it says give the slope intercept equation of a line that is graphed to the right. So this guy here has a y-intercept, so that is my b, of +1, and it's got a slope of down 1 over, is that quite 2? I think we'll call that 2. Close enough. If you guys are in the ballpark, you guys will get it. -1/2. So y equals -1/2 x plus 1. All right, that's that y equals mx plus b. Awesome. So there we go, nothing crazy there. And then number 5 is kind of the same way. What is the slope and the y-intercept of the equation? The slope of this guy is +3. You can say 3/1 if you want. My y-intercept is -7. Number 6, you have to do a little bit of work here to get my slope and my y-intercept. You have to get it into y equals mx plus b. All right, so to get this one in y equals mx plus b, I have to subtract the 2x over. So I subtract the 2x. I have -5y is equal to -2x plus 10. Divide by that -5. Divide by the -5. So now I have y is equal to 2/5 x, because -2 divided by -5 is positive, minus 2. All right, so that's my equation, but now my y-intercept is -2, and my slope is 2/5. All right, awesome. Number 7, this is going to be the exact same question on your test. Any two lines that are parallel have the same slope, and any two perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Reciprocals. All right, so opposite reciprocals is what we have there for perpendicular lines. All right, number 8, line 1, and line 1 has a slope of 2, so that's my m, and line 2 has these 2 points right here. You have to determine if lines 1 and 2 are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the slope of these 2 points, and then we're going to determine if it's the same as 2, if it's the opposite reciprocal of 2, or if it's neither. All right, so if it's parallel, my slope has got to be 2. If it's perpendicular, my slope is going to have to be -1/2. That's the opposite reciprocal, and anything else will be neither. All right, awesome. So now I take here, I have 8 minus 2 on the top, and then on the bottom I have -1 minus a -4. So 8 minus 2 is 6. -1 minus a -4 is going to be 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So I look here, this guy is 2, so they are parallel. Awesome. Good, good, good. All right, as I jump onto the back here, a lot of different graphing and a lot of different ones here on the back. These top two, number 9 and 10, are kind of the ones that trick people up in the future, or in the past, excuse me. Hopefully I can't predict the future. I don't know. Hopefully you guys will do better on these. All right, number 9, it says the line passes through the points -2, -1, and -4, -3. So you have to find the slope-intercept equation. So what we're going to do here first is we have to find the slope. So I go -3 minus -1. And on the bottom, I have to do what? -4 minus a -2. So this is plus a positive, which is going to be -2. And then this guy is going to be plus a positive, which is going to be -2. So my slope here is 1. That's my m. So now I have this equation. I have y equals mx plus b. I know that my y that I can use, let's use this x and this y. Sure, let's go -1 is equal to 1 times -2 plus b. So I'm taking my x and my y up there, and then the slope that I just found. Now I'm going to solve for what my b is. So now, hey, I know that this is -2, so I'm going to add 2 to the other side. So I get 1 is equal to my b. Okay, so now I know my m is 1 and my b is 1. So now I have y equals 1x plus 1. Right? So that one's kind of a funky equation there. It's got all ones. Right? But perfect. Now number 10 is kind of the same deal, except for they kind of give you a little bit of different information. It says the line passes through the point. So this is my x, this is my y, 2, 1, and is perpendicular to the line y equals 2x minus 10. So my slope here in the original is 2. But a perpendicular slope is the opposite reciprocal. So my m1 is going to be -1/2. All right. So now as I just go through and plug these guys in, I get y equals mx plus b. I know that, hey, my y is 1 is equal to my new m is -1/2. My x is 2 plus b. All right. So now I have 1 is equal to -1/2 times 2 is going to be -1 plus b. So now if I add 1 to the other side, add 1, I get 2 is equal to my b. So now I get y is equal to -1/2 x, because that's the new slope that I found, plus 2, because that's my b that I found. Right? So those are a little bit tricky. You got to find some different information there. If it's perpendicular, then it's got opposite reciprocal slopes. If it's parallel, it is the same. Okay, number 11, so now we just go through a bunch of these guys that are just straight through and graphing here. Number 11 is graph the line that passes through -2, 0. So -2, 0 is right here and has a slope of -3/4. So I go down 3, right 4. That's right there. So that is my line right there. So don't overthink that one. Just graph that point and then just walk your slope of down 3 over 4 from there. Okay, number 12, I know that my m is 2/3. That's in y equals mx plus b, and my b is -1. So I start from -1, and then I walk up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, and there is my line. Okay, a couple quick ones there. Number 13 is actually not in y equals mx plus b, so you have to get it in y equals mx plus b. So this guy, I minus the x, I minus the x, so now I have 3y is equal to -x plus 15. Divide by 3, divide by 3, so now I get y is equal to -1/3 x plus 5. All right, so that's in y equals mx plus b. So now I start at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I walk a slope of -1/3. So I go down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3 is right there. So I connect those guys, make my line. So there we go. There's number 13. As I keep moving on here to number 14. Number 14 is in y equals mx plus b, but it is a greater than. Be careful here for number 14. You have to dash and then maybe shade, right? So I look here. My y-intercept is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is negative 1 over 1, negative 1 over 1, negative 1 over 1. And then be careful. Don't just draw a solid line through here. Got to make sure that, hey, this is dashed because it does not have an equal to sign. So here's a dash. And then, remember, we got to toss some shade on there. So we test 0, 0. Remember how we like to test 0, 0? You can test any point in the world. But I got 0 is greater than negative 0 plus 4. So this guy goes away. So 0 greater than 4. Is 0 greater than 4? No. Of course not. So this is now, so 0, 0 does not work, so I shade everything that is up here. All right, so that should be your shading there. All right, number 15 is a little bit tricky because this one does not have a y and an x. It just has an x. All right, so now here I got to get this x all by itself, so I divide by 2. So I got x is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, and here's what we talked about. This is Vox. Remember Hoy and Vox? This one is Vox. So I look at this one and I go, my x is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember here, this is a vertical line. So I have a vertical line and it is solid because it's got an equal to sign. So this is solid. All right. Awesome. So now I look, hey, what x values are actually greater than 4? So you can test 0, 0, and that's okay. And let's just do that here for the sake of doing it. If I test 0, 0, I plug in 0s for my x, 0 for my y, but there is no y. So I have 0 is greater than 4. Is 0 greater than 4? No. 0 is not greater than 4, so I have to shade away from that guy, so everything over here. Okay? And it's kind of just common sense that, hey, x is greater than 4. All these numbers over here are greater than 4. Awesome. Number 16. Remember here that we talked about finding our vertex. So remember this is y equals a absolute value of x minus h plus k. All right. The h is always the opposite of what it looks like. So my h is the opposite of what it looks like. So this is 3, negative 5 is my vertex here. So 3, negative 5 is my vertex. So I go over 3, 1, 2, 3, down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right there. And then that a is pretty much my slope that I walk to the right. So my slope to the right, equals 2. So I walk up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. There we go. And now I have to walk the opposite slope. So I go negative 2 to make my v. There we go. And there is my v. All right. So here on, I forgot here, and I'll draw this in here quick before we get to 18, is that this is my point right here. And I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. There we go. All right, I forgot to draw those in before I got started here. Alrighty, so here we go. Number 17 is this piecewise function. So I have to graph y equals negative 3, and I have to graph y equals 2x plus 1. All right, remember that we're going to graph these guys, and then we're going to kind of erase them as we go here. So y equals negative 3 is a horizontal line, that's Hoy, at negative 3. So I go, my y is negative 3 is right here, and then I have a horizontal line right through there, so that is my y equals 3 is right in there. Now I have this y equals 2x plus 1, that has a y-intercept of 1, and I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, down 2 to the left 1, down 2 to the left 1. So this line looks like this. All right, and then now I have to make sure I go through and put open dots or closed dots. So remember here, this is going to be an open dot. So I graph this when x is less than negative 1. So at negative 1 on this guy, it's going to be an open dot, and here it's going to be a closed dot for that one. So I only graph this horizontal line when it is less than -1. So I'm going to delete everything that's over here, and that erased my line as well. So I'm going to go everything that is over here. Okay, everything over there is less than -1. Right? And now I have to erase everything that is less than -1 over here for this line. So if I take this, and yes, it erased my whole other line there. Here's -1. I keep everything that is greater than it. So this is greater. All these x values are greater than over here. Okay. So again, piecewise functions are a little bit tricky, but that's how you go through and graph that one. Graph them. That's the main gist, and then try to erase them as much as you can there for the best you can. All right. So again, here my equation for number 18 is this absolute value function. Remember, I have y equals a absolute value of x minus h plus k. So I got to find my vertex. My vertex is at 2, 1. All right. So now in my a, if I look at this, is 2 because I walk up 2 over 1. So now I fill this guy in. I get y equals 2, x minus 2, not my h. I'm going to actually fill this guy in. X minus 2 plus 1. All right. So again, you can go through and kind of check yourself there. You can pull out a vertex of 2, 1, and then this guy's got a slope of 2. All right, so that does it. That is number 18. A lot of graphing on that back side. The majority of the points come on the back side. So do your best there. Make sure you come in and find me if you have any questions. Other than that, I will see you guys later, and thank you for listening.